today's video, we are going to be covering how to put an adhesive vinyl design and or decal onto your tumblers. So the tumbler you see here is from Amazon, but the first thing that we want to do is we want to jump into Cricut Design Space and start with our design. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to open Cricut Design Space to a new project. And we want to go to our text box and we want to type whatever word that we want. If we want a name on there, we put their name on here. The mug that I am doing is going to be a bridesmaid's mug. So I'm going to start with the name of the bridesmaid that I want on here. And again, this can just be, changed to whatever design or name that you have for your project. So what you're going to do is I went ahead and typed the name in. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to select which type of font that I want. I know the name of the font that I want is called Mountain Bridge. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. This particular font is a free font from dafont.com. I'll throw up the web address below if you want to get this font. Dafont.com is great for free fonts that they let you download to your computer and use for personal use. So I definitely recommend checking that out. So now that I have it pulled in here, you can see that it is separated, but it's a cursive font. So I'm going to go ahead and click Ungroup over there. And then I'm going to manually move each of these closer together so that they touch and look like a true cursive word. Okay. And when you're satisfied that it looks proper and it has just like you'd like it to, so I'm going to move that down a wee bit. Then you're going to go ahead and select all of your word. And then down here, you will see that it says weld. We're going to go ahead and select weld. Now what weld does is it allows it to cut without showing the cut lines. So it will show as one word that you can now move along versus those individual letters. And it's not going to have little weird cut marks when it cuts it. It's going to look as one unit, seamless, if you will. So you want to go ahead and size it to where you want it on your mug. So just measure out on your mug or your tumbler exactly how big you want your word to be. And go ahead and get it to where it is that same size in Design Space. So the next thing I'm going to do is grab a text box and I'm going to type in the word bridesmaid. Now Cricut automatically defaults to the last font that you use, which for me, and this one was Mountain Bridge. I don't want that to be the same font for the word underneath. So I want to change that. I'm going to jump up here, click on my font, and I'm going to actually just use Arial Rounded. So Arial Rounded Bold is the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to shrink it down to the right size that I want underneath the name. Now, I do want to add a little something extra to this word. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click my text box again. And now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to jump over on my computer to Font Book. Here on a Mac. This allows you to get all the little extra swirls and hearts and all the fancy stuff that come with fonts on your computer. So what I'm going to do is this particular one is called I Love Glitter. It's the name of the font. And I'm going to go ahead on my computer and select that. Then I'm going to select the heart. And I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to put Command V, which is going to allow me to then paste it in. And as you can see, it didn't do anything. It made a line, and that's not what we want. And the reason that's not working is because it still shows Arial Rounded Bold. Because remember, Cricut defaults to the last font that you used. And the swirly heart is in the font called I Love Glitter. So to change that, all we have to do is come up here while we're still selected on that little line that it brought in, and we're going to type in I Love Glitter. There we go. Now we have our heart swirly line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move it and position it over to the D to where I think it looks nice. And then once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and select it, and I'm going to hit Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. And then this is going to allow me to bring a duplicate one of the same size and everything to the other side to balance it out. Once you're happy with how they are situated, you're going to want to select all of it, the word and the two hearts. And again, you want to come down here and hit weld. Now, it can move as one cut figure as well. That is simply combining two fonts together, the Arial rounded rolled, and then the special little heart swirls that came with the font I Love Glitter. So that is how you do combine fonts if you want to do that. And then once you have everything to where you want it, you're going to want to go ahead and select it all. And you're going to want to attach. This is going to allow it to cut as one unit. As you can see now, this is what it's going to cut. Because it is adhesive vinyl, there is no need to mirror. So everything is good as it is. We are going to go ahead and select continue down here and let our machine cut out our design. And remember, since we are using permanent adhesive vinyl on our cup, we want to make sure that we place the adhesive vinyl that we will be using with the backing side down. So this side is the side with the lines on it. We want that side to go down on the mat when we cut it. So now that it is cut, we will go ahead and peel that off and weed our design. The next step is to take rubbing alcohol, and we want to put a little bit on a paper towel. Then we are going to rub that over the surface of our tumbler, and we're going to let that air dry. What that is going to do is that it's going to make sure that it is a nice clean surface for our vinyl to adhere to. Let that air dry. Now, while that is drying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some transfer tape now, and I'm going to go ahead and apply it over the top of my design that I want to be placed on the mug. Transfer tape, my decal. I'm going to go ahead and place that directly over. Now, you either want to take your Cricut scraper or a squeegee. Here I have a squeegee, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. By now, this should be dry. Again, it does not take long to typically for your tumbler to dry. So we're going to go ahead and take this, peel it off. Okay, next we're going to take our design and our decal, and we are going to apply it to our clean surface. So you just want to measure it to where it looks good to you, or eyeball it, whatever floats your boat. Press it down like so. Then we're going to peel off our transfer tape. Okay, so once you have peeled off the transfer tape, you are done. Now, one thing that is important to remember is they do say when you're using adhesive vinyl on tumblers or decals to make sure that you don't put it in the dishwasher and or soak it or put it in the microwave. Now, if you're curious what happens if you were to stick it in the dishwasher, I have given that a test and I will link that video up above if you want to check that out. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this helpful and learned something new. If you did, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys.